Well,
Hey,
happy Monday, everybody. How you doing? Johnny J is in the house, president and station manager of Innervision FM. Don't forget to visit www.innervisionrecords.org. And listen, folks, this is our last Monday of 2025, so I want you to do me a solid. Email Johnny, that's Johnny with an IE, at innervisionrecords.org. I want you guys to tell Johnny what sort of topics you want to see in the upcoming year. We've got a fun show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what? How we performed over the last year, some of the videos that you guys watched, and some of the questions that were most posed to us. Where do you want to start, Johnny?
well, let's start at the beginning. We found that you guys were really interested in like getting deeper into the talk about music, and we really enjoyed like some of the shows that you guys came back to view, and uh, and we really like thank you guys for like supporting us. Also, just remind again, like, share, support, and if you haven't subscribed, like click the all button so you get every notifications that we're on.
Well,
Okay.
sometimes YouTube doesn't send the notifications out with great alacrity. Some of the other platforms are a little bit different, a little bit better. But the best way, like Johnny said, just go ahead and hit that notifications bell, set it to all.
Yeah. And we thank you guys for not just clicking and watching, but rewatching the shows, and the comment thread is mostly the comment thread and media morality. And it's just nice to see that people are hungry for truth and not noise necessarily. And
Well, you
that's really
bring
cool.
that up, and I think that's awesome because for me, Johnny, it's not just business ethics. I don't think there's a such thing as business ethics. I think it's just ethics.
Mm,
So,
mm,
gosh, wouldn't anybody want to hear the unvarnished, real truth from a disabled person's perspective?
mm,
I mean, like, let's look at this. We got a 41% underemployment rate on paper in the United States of America for the blind and low vision community, as well as the otherwise disabled community. But
mm,
unfortunately, it doesn't tell the whole story because it doesn't factor in those who have never held a job, nice
mm,
young kids coming up, finding their future. It doesn't also factor in those that gave up looking long, long ago, because even when you do find employment, we as disabled folks get the opportunity to fill out additional paperwork that normal people, able bodied individuals, may not get the enjoyment and opportunity to fill out, such as impairment related work expenses. Gosh, Johnny, you
mm.
run a nonprofit, so you're all about paperwork.
Oh
And what are some
yeah.
of the
Oh yeah.
specialized things that the disabled have to jump through just to be able to apply for the privilege of serving our country through being employed? And
Mm,
that's why the underemployment rate is so high. It's like, well, gosh, we don't just go to work and pay our taxes. Nope. Sorry, got to
mm,
have 529 able accounts. Got to have. Oh, by the way, this none of this is financial. So the stuff I'm spouting is just theoretical. Uh, Check into it yourself. Do your own due diligence. I'm not offering you any financial advice, but bottom line here, folks, these impairment related work expenses, keeping of receipts, so that you've got good records, so that if they do come back on you and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we overpaid you on one of your benefits,"
yeah.
you at least got a record of what's going on, so that you know you can negotiate a lower payback rate if indeed you were overpaid. And if you weren't overpaid in the first place, why, uh, Well,
Yeah.
chances are you may actually find yourself overpaid anyway. That's the way
And
our dear
and
uncle
I
started.
found out just recently that if you're over 65 and you are in disability, then it's swings up. There's certain things where, like, say you got just over your head in credit card debts
Yes.
that you don't necessarily, if you find this too much of a hardship, you can um, almost just like write that off,
Well,
and
do
they
your
can't
own due
come, yeah,
diligence because yeah, 65, you can do a lot of things at
yeah,
65 that you're not able to do until you're
yes, yeah,
65. So
yeah.
those are
Like
some interesting.
it was kind of funny. It's not on my list of things to talk about, but my ex-wife, she had died, but she got this check from SSD SSDI, and I told her, don't cash that check. And she went in and cashed it. And then, she had the cancer and whatever, and she was, I guess, she said, hey, I might as well enjoy life,
Right.
a little bit of
Absolutely.
life. And
Absolutely.
so she dies. And so then they come looking, and it took them about 3 years and said, but since I was a young guy still, they said, well, we're going to charge you this. So I paid it off $10 at a time, but it was just crazy that they would come back after you and then say, well, yeah, even though that person died, you gotta pay this thing that she did because remember you be in the 70s, women couldn't get a bank account without their husband.
Oh yeah, dude, that's actually
That is really
fairly
weird.
that's interesting that you bring that up because that's actually fairly recent that that's changed where you like you said you had to have your husband co-sign or well, yeah, usually it was husband because
Yeah,
you didn't have
yeah,
a boyfriend, you didn't have the
yeah,
baby daddy, didn't have any of that. Wow,
yeah.
dude.
And I just thought I remember like reading, I said, It's been that recent."
Yeah, it's
And I
kind of
said, "Gee,
crazy, man.
gee." Well, so things have really changed. And if you guys are watching this and you said, get out of here, you're born like in 2000 and you've been around just for 25 years and you can't imagine there was a world before you.
World before the internet, world
Yeah,
before AI. Hey, we're
yeah.
going to talk a little bit about heaven and hell today. As a
Oh,
matter of
yeah.
fact, may as well jump right on in there. Is AI something that's going to erase our history? Do we have control? Do we have power to prevent some of this stuff?
No.
Stay with us till the end of the podcast and we'll cover some of that. Where do you want to
Yeah.
go next, Johnny?
Yeah. Now, are your songs that you're writing, musicians out there, are
Mhm.
there songs leading people to heaven or to hell? And I know there might be some agnostic musical artists out there and stuff like that where say, there's no God, there's no. But for the ones who are not, where are your songs leading you? And even if you're not, are you influenced by um, the people in the business? Which I was just Reggie Rocker was doing the show last week, and he was talking about it was a certain level that he reached, and and then it became weird. And he said
Right,
it was this one party that it was on a boat, and it was like it was Diddy's boat, and these girls they were crying because they didn't have any tickets, and he just reached in and just gave them the ticket, and the captain said, "Man, you could have sold those tickets for a lot of money." He says, "Hey, I know, but I'm giving it to these two girls." And then he just left and went to the hotel because he was given like $7,000 in the company that it was worked. The record company was saying, "We want you to spend as much as this, if not all of this, as you can."
right.
But he just said, "No, I'm not going on that boat, um, and I'm not gonna participate in that stuff because his mother had raised them to like in a Christian family and not to give up, all of who he is." Right. And he just said, nope, I'm not doing that. And then now you come to find out that P. Diddy and a bunch of other people uh, did go over that line. He sent this one lady, they said, look at some of these artists when they first get into the business and then look at how they are now. I guess there's one lady, oh, I can't remember her name, but she came in and she looked like a normal girl. Now she has a head shaved and pins and stuff like that, and she's totally changed. Uh, El Grande or Ellie Grande, I think that's her name. But of course, because we're blind, we wouldn't see that the beginning changes of a person because we're just listening to the voice, right? So it's just weird how they shape you into this other person in order for them to so-called, in open quotes, sell your music.
I think it's all about integrity. If you've got integrity, you may not get as many likes. You may not get as many spins on your music. You may not get as many fans as you would expect. And then, even the fans that you get, let's say within the Christian community, if you don't subscribe to their particular theology and you don't
Mhm.
mention God the right way, then you're kind of in trouble on both sides of the aisle. I mean, in the
Mhm.
Christian community, I look at recording artists that
Mhm. Hey,
maybe, well, like Lauren Daigle, for instance,
mhm.
maybe, they have some good music and a good message behind the stuff they're putting out there, but then maybe their private life commingles with the
Mm.
music, and then they find out, wow, they're just sinners just like everybody else. Or maybe they kind of have a new age belief.
Or who was that French lady who just died at 91? Laura Briggiato, or what was her name? Uh,
Oh, Lola Brigida something or other. I
yeah,
can't remember her name.
they said like she had a very tragic life. And then
Yeah.
of course Marilyn Monroe, same thing
Oh,
with
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And it seems like, these people have these really tragic life and they get it into this, this mm, on camera kind of persona.
Mm.
And and then I guess the first movie, the one that really drew attention to was uh God Created Woman, I think in 1954.
Yeah, 1954. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting. And then I was also going to talk about like people also like the what we were talking about, George Clinton. They said on one of his shows, uh, to get the people's attention, he would come out of the audience and stand on a table
Right.
and do his act on the table. And of course, he had this kind of like gospel type of ring to his voice, especially if you listen to the live, go back and listen to the live, I think it's Parliament Funkadelic albums,
Mm.
and when he's calling the mothership to come
Yeah.
down, and I was at some of those concerts,
Oh,
and
wow.
of course, you know, they first see, I think they first come on. I forget if they first come on as Parliament or if they come on as Funkadelic.
I think they
Uh,
come on as Parliament first, and then they
I,
bring Funkadelic on.
yeah, and that's when the ship comes down.
Right, right.
Yeah, and if you want to see how they got that ship, go watch the movie Spinning Gold.
Spinning Gold, man. That's a good movie. You
Yeah,
recommended me that a few months ago, boy, and I watched that. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I don't like movies, so it's hard for me to sit still, but wow, that was a good
yeah. So it
one.
was like, and the manager, he had to sometimes deal with bad people to get enough money to be on the map as far as the music scene. And if you didn't pay that money back, he saw his dad get beat up many times before, and then it was him getting beat up by the
Getting beat
mobsters
up
because he
himself.
didn't, they say, hey, we want our money. We
Mm,
want it now. We're not going to kill you, but we're going to make you know that we
that's right.
want that money back.
That's right.
And, and I said, wow, man, that's like, I don't know if I've borrowed money before, but I don't know if I'd like to get involved with somebody like that. But
It is definitely no fun. You definitely don't want to be on the wrong side of a loan shark. Much more advantageous if you're gonna go get some money that way. Go to one of those what do they call those things where they charge you like 1,000,000% on your loan?
Oh man. Yeah, the Bible was talking about that back in the day. They had this
Well,
servant, and he was. And I'm reading about this in Matthew 7, and he
yeah,
couldn't pay back, and he fell on his knees and begged him, and the master had mercy on him and said, "Okay, I'll forgive your sin. I won't put you, your wife, your children, in bondage until you pay it off."
right,
Then the slave went out, and he found a fellow servant that owed
right,
him less money,
right.
and he didn't forgive him. So
No,
the people the other servants went back and told the master. Master brought him back in and said, "Okay, since you didn't forgive your fellow servant like I forgave you, I'm just going to throw you in jail, and then you're going to have to pay it off."
that's right, man. That was some, yeah, and boy, I bet you that guy was weeping and gnashing his teeth. Let me tell you what, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, I need you to do me three things.
Hmm.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. That's number one. Toss a comment down below.
Hmm.
Let us know what you think of these types of topics and what you want to see for next year. That's number two. And
Hmm.
number three, listen, we just got done with a Christmas holiday.
Hmm.
If you're at Walmart and you're returning some items and you're picking up some new stuff for New Year's, getting ready for that New Year's Eve party, going into New Year's Day, maybe some of us even have off till Friday. I want you to
Hmm.
do me a favor, and when you're up there, round your purchase up to the next dollar. And the way that you do this is hit the Spark Good Foundation up or
Hmm.
go directly to Walmart. Now, when you do this and you type in Innervision uh, and you go ahead and round your purchase up to the next dollar, it's going to help content creation like this reach more people. Bottom line is, we got paywalls, folks. We've got software we've got to pick up, and that's not your problem. But if you want good content, and if you want nothing but the truth, and you want it high quality transmitted right to you, go ahead and round that purchase up to the next dollar. Don't forget to hit Johnnie up at InnervisionRecords.org. Check
Hmm.
out our donation options.
Yeah.
We've got a store on YouTube that
Oh yeah.
services and helps out Toni Negus. He's one of the recording artists that we have been featuring last year. And Hey Joe is one of our studio hosts, and
Hmm.
he'll join us all the way from the future.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's got a what is it? A latest album, I think, is Never Derailed.
Yep.
You can find some of his work, Hey Joe, on on YouTube directly on
Or
Johnny's
Apple
channel.
Music. Apple
Yeah,
Music.
Apple
And
Music's
Spotify,
where.
I don't know. I mean, not Spotify. Spotify, but Apple Music, because we get paid 1 penny more on
So
there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the best way, if you want to drive traffic, listen to it on Spotify, purchase it on Apple.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Hey, now number three, how media editing shapes uh, views of some of these people. And I talked about how Donald Trump was from the BBC. They
Oh, the clever
edited.
editing they did with
Yeah.
the Go in Peace, and yeah, that was some crazy stuff. I remember
Mm.
2020 like it was yesterday. What about you, Johnny?
Well, also like the Spike Lee at the end of the movie called The White Klansman.
Mm,
He ended up taking the same when Trump says he denounced uh,
David
the white
Duke,
national the David Duke and
the
all those
white
people.
nationalism
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah.
but they only showed like some of the people. They say many of those people were good people, and then they just didn't show the rest of it. And
Right.
so Spike Lee at the end of that movie, and and it's almost like if you know the stuff and you go to movies and you see that and you say, oh man, it's like I wonder who he sold this soul to put that little hook in. But these guys, they do this and they don't think about. I guess they just think, oh, I'll live forever. There's no consequences to this. There is some consequences to all of our actions. And none of us are perfect, but it's like, but if you're just intentionally doing just silly stuff like this guy, like these people on the left. It's like, and even some on the right who are just doing. Because I found like they had this chat room of young Republicans, and they were up there saying some pretty silly things, and it's almost like, somebody is always going to find out something, and it's like you can keep it hidden for so long, and then somebody's going to find out this crazy stuff. So these editing choices will can change uh, perceptions, and it will also like change the facts. So,
I want you guys to research something called Operation Mockingbird. When I read this email this morning from Johnnie and we got to this particular topic, I was reminded of the fact that there is a quote military industrial complex. And basically, these guys are run by the big alphabet agencies, and the big alphabet agencies have allegedly the six major film companies and all the music industry pretty much in their pocket, allegedly, of course. And so, when this Operation Mockingbird took off, I don't think it ever stopped. I think that the powers that be, so to speak, hey, we got a good thing going. We got to keep going with this thing. And for the longest time, everybody was read into the script. So before, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think out there in the Innervision FM universe. But here's something interesting. Donald John Trump is one of the most polarizing presidents ever in American history. We are just getting ready to hit the 250th birthday
Oh
of
yes.
America. And so we need to look at this honestly and say, what's going on with this gentleman for the last 10 years? Why, from the get, did he have such an opposition? Why did 98% of the mainstream media news and a goodly portion of even the conservative outlets not really enjoy him getting into the presidency the first time around? He was all but hobbled as a lame duck during his first presidency. And even so, he accomplished more in that first presidency than a lot of presidents ever accomplished. More jobs for the disadvantaged individual who happened to be black. Lots of wages went up under that first term. Real estate prices were down. Gas prices were gas prices way down. We had energy independence. All that stopped the very first day that the previous administration of Joe Biden just got in there. So we had 40-year inflation highs. We had individuals selling us on the idea of, hey, let's not call those guys what illegal aliens, but let's rather call them newcomer friends, which I don't mind. I like new friends, but honest, I ended up in a place where I was homeless last year. So in November of 2024, when there were those gangs in Aurora, and I could literally walk down or take a bus down. It's about 9 miles from where I was staying, and I could talk to these folks. But the governor was lying to the people that called. There's no gangs in there. No. And it's like I can go down there and talk to them. Tell me none of that.
That's wow. Yeah. So sometimes when you watch what is being said, you got to also think about what's not being said.
You want to come here too, because I will tell you this: we're going to give you the skinny. Now, it might be from a disabled individual that you'll get the skinny, but oftentimes somebody who's blind, I hate to use that old cliche, but man, somebody who's blind will tell you what they see.
Hmm. Hey, number four, it says, can AI erase history? That's interesting. Do you think that AI can actually erase history? It depends on who's programming it. Because if you have someone with a certain mind bent and there, and even like we've seen like in history, like certain things were left out of history, like um, there were certain people that were creating stuff, but they weren't being told that certain things about even slavery that wasn't told. That there were even like black slave owners, but you don't see that, and
Right.
it's not talked about in those books. They just say, "Oh, these white guys, they were the ones," but no, there were some other ones participating in this as well.
That's
So
absolutely right. That's also where myths come from. Like, for instance, George Washington Carver. Everybody knows that he invented peanut butter, right?
yeah,
Well, maybe not so much. I guess the peanut butter has been around since the Mayan days or the Aztec days. I'm not really sure,
mm.
but wow, when I found that out, I was like, wow, that's an interesting not fact.
Yeah, and also, so 36 people returned, uh, wanted to have further conversation, and you can do that in our subject line there. Um, we can go back and forth with, do you think that AI can actually erase history, or do you think that there's always going to be somebody around? Oh, like I just saw this video about different creative ways that black grandmothers and stuff like that. And yeah, and Ali, you commented on that. It was kind of funny what you were saying on these different medications. And I remember in January, our dad would line us up, and then he would have this castor oil, and then he's okay. I'm going to take a swig first. So he'd get a spoon, take one, and we'll just be looking at him, saying, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to take another swig." He said, "Okay, which one? Who's first?" And we just look at each other. And say, oh, and then there was this one that it was whiskey, honey, and lemon.
Yeah, that used to be my favorite. That was my
Yeah,
go-to when I got a cold. Heck, half the time when I didn't have a cold, boy, some
yeah,
whiskey and honey and some lemon.
yeah. And then I didn't. I remember putting the mentholated and stuff. It was in a green bottle, white top. I remember putting that on your chest, but I didn't remember the part about putting it on your foot and then putting on socks and then that
And then,
seeping through your
wow,
yeah.
yeah,
And
that
then
really.
yeah, but it was something. It was something else. It was candlelight fluid. What was it called? But they would put some sugar and put this candlelight fluid, and you would drink that, and I swear it will kill anything that is in your body trying to make you sick.
Not a medical professional here, so
No,
I'm not telling you to try this stuff at
no,
home.
no, no,
uh,
no, man. And I remember one time it looks like Vicks 44.
I
And
remember that stuff.
I I grabbed this bottle because I thought, oh, I'm gonna take some Vicks 44, and
Right.
I put it in the spoon, swallowed that stuff without the sugar,
Uh-huh.
and it got stuck in my throat.
You're like,
And my mother's in the front room talking on the phone. My brother's outside mowing the lawn, and I said, I'm gonna die. Because I was like, yeah, it's like nothing's going down, nothing's going up. I'm trying to pour water down my throat, trying to get this stuff
Shit.
down or up or something. And eventually I had to calm down, relax, and then, it cleared, but it was, I was like, who put this stuff in a Vicks 44 bottle? It's like, so, oh man, I mean, so dangerous stuff, man. Dangerous stuff. But yeah, it was it's a video out there like yeah, man, the things they used to do, and my solution was like, if we weren't eating such bad things, w- all those sicknesses, I mean, pig guts and pig ears and just the weird things we were eating back in those days, you know, I think that led to a lot of like sicknesses and acne problems because they found out that you give kids like all this what's that called, milk, and stuff like
Sure,
that.
yeah.
And they had and I had big acne problems and stuff like that. But
I
if
mean,
and I didn't get to see a salad until I was like 21 years old.
wow.
It's like we didn't even know what a salad meant. We just ate all this other stuff. I mean, we did do some vegetables like greens, but ham hocks or but salads, no, that didn't even exist. But interesting. So we're losing a lot of oral history, and so hopefully, you have someone in your family that will pass that down. Now,
Now here's the deal with AI. Yes, it can erase history. Yes, there are agencies out there that are preserving records, including mine. I run a website called accountabilityrevolution.com. It's always under construction because I'm always broke and I don't have the tools to finish it. But what I want to do this time next year is point you guys to this website here in the next week or two.
hmm,
And it's going to show you guys prompting materials, things
hmm,
that will protect you and basically give you the ability to chronicle what's going on so that there's no way for AI to erase our history. In fact, there are prompting materials that Innervision FM has available. Uh, Go ahead and email Johnnie at innervisionrecords.org if you want
hmm,
access to these prompts. We'll get them in your hands.
hmm.
But what they'll do is they'll basically corral that AI and say, hey, now look, I'm driving, you're navigating. We'll get there together, but don't steal my history.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Hey, we're gonna close it out today. Hey, we thank you guys for showing, and then that's just a recap of some of the things we covered in the past. That we found that a lot of listeners, about 89% of you came back, and in some cases, like 39% of you came back to really watch those videos again, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I want to
So,
thank you for that. Thank you for that. And one thing I gotta say, Johnnie, I gotta
uh,
say it, man, right before the year's end, because we might go live tomorrow. We might go live Wednesday. I don't know.
yeah,
But but check this out. If we don't, and you don't get to hear the salvation message, let me tell you, Christ is my king. And I found him when I was 8. And I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for quite a while, but
Mm,
I did walk away from him. Uh, I
mm,
I partied. I smoked a lot. I drank a lot. Wow. I lived my life. And then I realized I got to the end of myself and I said, Lord, uh, I'm sorry. I repent. And so I kind of had to rededicate myself. You don't have to do that. You don't have to rededicate, although rededication is good.
mm,
You just get salvation, make it stick. First Corinthians chapter 15 is where you find the message of salvation. Paul lays it all out there, sets it up for you, gives you all the logical arguments for and against salvation, and gives you a choice in about First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51. If you want to get saved today, why don't you do it? Just ask Christ uh, into your heart, and then ask him to start showing you folks to help with the assimilation of what's in the Bible, because
mm,
the adversary, he don't like it when people get saved, so he'll send people against your salvation. So in order to be set up, get yourself armored up. That's going to be
mm.
in Ephesians chapter 5.
Definitely.
Or
All
no,
right.
I'm sorry, Ephesians
Yeah.
chapter 6. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yes, Ephesians chapter 6. Put on the whole armor of God.
Right.
Yes. All right, you guys. God bless you, man, and have a fantastic uh, evening, the rest of the night
That's
or
right.
morning if you're in another country.
Right.
And
Right.
we'll